You spoke about energies. Um, what do you think these UAPs and potential alien beings are? Do you think they're from a different dimension, or what's your views on it? Or do you think it's just smoke and mirrors from the government and a lot of
I'm a stickler for words have meaning. So I don't think that there's such a thing as other dimensions, because the word dimension is just a reference to a measurement of scale. And the dimensions we live in, when people say three dimensions, height, width, length, they're all connected to each other. And if that makes sense, they're part of, they're all an aspect of the physical object that is in front of you that you're measuring. So there are only other dimensions beyond those three conceptually in the abstract algebra and math that physicists purvey as being some kind of science. And that, so like what I'm saying is, like, most of what is called science is actually just mathematical models and simulations with no basis in reality, especially astrophysics. I don't know where you guys fall on this particular conspiracy, but I've yet to see any evidence that I live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite void. There's actually a lot of evidence to the contrary. I can't tell you I know what the realm that we exist on is, but like at this point, to me, it's like we were playing opposite day in school, and everything that they taught us was actually the opposite of true. So, um, with that being said, why I bring that up is because with the craft people see in the sky, that phenomenon seems to go back really far, really, really far, not just to recent times. There's the similarities between abduction experiences people have that mirror the fairy folklore of, say, Ireland or other parts of the world that have a similar type of folklore. So it would be silly for me to wave my hands and dismiss it all and say it's nothing. There's something going on. I mean, I myself have seen UFOs, or UAPs, I guess is the new word for that. Like one time, me and two other people, we were sober at the time, we are camping, and it was on the day of a total solar eclipse. And that's why we were camping. We're in a region where we'd be able to see the total eclipse in 2017. And from a few feet away, we're sitting in our lawn chairs, and from behind my vehicle, a beach ball sized glowing white orb just rose up from behind my car. And we're all like, whoa, look at that. And then a couple others rose up, and they all flew around, and then they merged into one, and then they split apart again. And then like 30 seconds later, they just zipped away and flew off behind the tree line out of sight. I have no idea what that was. No clue. But there are a lot of interesting theories out there. I really like Dr. Gregory Little. He has a recent book that with Andrew Collins, where they cover a lot of subjects. But one of the things that was fascinating about it, and I had him on my show last year, I believe, to talk about, was the possibility that some of what people are encountering in terms of unidentified objects in the sky might be plasma life forms, plasma-based life forms. And I think that could possibly describe, I wouldn't say explain, it's not like we understand it, but that could describe what I saw in the experience I just recounted. There's an effect. You guys familiar with the piezoelectric effect? Okay, so this is a piece of quartz right here. Quartz is silica. It's used in all kinds of electronics. It has an information storing capacity. It has an electricity conductive capacity. And maybe most interesting is the piezoelectric effect that occurs. That refers to squeezing. When you put pressure on something like a crystal form, it actually generates an electric charge. So as I'm squeezing this quartz, I'm actually generating a low voltage electricity in my hand. So that right there takes a little bit out of the woo-woo out of the hippies that are always, have crystals around. I I happen to use crystals quite extensively in my work as with energy healing, and I just have them all over because they bring beauty to the environment. So that alone is a good enough reason. But there's actually an electricity to them, and there's something you can do that's very bizarre, where if you fill up a bathtub with with water and then have some quartz crystals in the water, and you turn off the lights in the bathtub and you start scratching like two crystals together under the water, it will actually light up the whole bathtub. And the light that illuminates the tub will light up the room like a lamp, which I know it's crazy. It's just silica, it's just quartz, right? So what that infers is that it may there. Okay, I got to explain a little more now. So as I've been talking about the energy capacity for your body, that the more energy you can hold without losing it, the higher level of consciousness that you are able to experience, the wider your perception of reality becomes. My take on that is that energy is synonymous with consciousness. That, like water, when energy goes into a container, the consciousness of that energy holds the shape of its container. So that's in a nutshell, right? We'll just leave that at that. But if you have, and we do have this, especially where I live, if one of the main minerals under the crust of the earth is quartz, and it is, but is especially where I'm at in my region, it's everywhere. There's tons of it. And then you have the pressure, the weight of everything in the land and above ground pressing down on the crust of the earth, pressing onto these crystals that are in the earth. That means that there's an electric charge being generated, a piezoelectric charge, by the very layering of the way the ground is. And so if that's the case, maybe there are seismic events, or maybe just there's like a static continual electricity effect that's going on that is generating a type of energy field that could possibly manifest if it, retained that energy with some consistency, that pressure was consistent, that would actually form in the sky above us, just like the light in the bathtub effect. Because what is the atmosphere? Well, it may not, you may not think about it this way, but it's actually water. It's not just oxygen. We're underwater right now. It's just less dense water. So hopefully people realize there's a lot more to what I'm saying than what I've managed to explain in this short explanation, but that there could be one of the things people are seeing in the sky. I wouldn't rule out that there's also types of craft that we don't understand, or maybe even other types of intelligent organisms that cohabitate this realm with us that we just are unable to perceive, or they avoid us. All of that is possible. But I think some degree of what people see, and maybe what I saw that day when I was camping during the eclipse, could be a type of energetic intelligence that is generated by this piezoelectric effect of the ground and the crystal underground and the water in the atmosphere, all kind of working together to create a consistent energetic pattern that thus experiences itself as a type of intelligence or consciousness with some type of agency in the world.